Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing really well and welcome back to my podcast, Life of an Artrepreneur. This is probably my most requested topic to talk about, which is how to grow on social media. And it's such a big topic that I feel like I probably need to split it across 2 episodes, because otherwise I feel like this episode will end up being like 5 hours long and no one wants that. So yeah, I'm going to split it across 2 different episodes, and in the first episode I'm going to talk about sort of my experience growing on social media, mainly talking about Instagram, because I feel like that's that's the platform that I like the best, and I've grown my biggest audience on there. I'm in no way like an expert on social media growth, like at all. But I just thought I'd share kind of what's worked for me over the years and kind of my experience with Instagram in particular. So before I talk about any of that, I think the main thing is what's absolutely crucial is your online presence. So that's like your username, your bio, your profile picture, because your online presence will be like the first thing that people perceive of you. So you want people to remember you and like know that you're an artist straight off the bat. So for example, my profile picture on Instagram is a picture of me drawing in my art studio. In my bio it says I'm a pet portrait and wildlife artist and art tutor, and my username is Becca Art. My content is probably a mixture of like finished pieces, works in progress and reels, and I tend to always show some of my pencils or have like my hand holding a pencil next to the drawing, so it's obvious it's a drawing to anyone who looks at my profile for the first time. So when talking about growth on social media, the first thing that probably springs to your mind is followers and like the amount of followers that someone has. And it's so important to know that the number of followers that you have doesn't signify your success, like at all. A lot of artists who are just starting out or are fairly new with their art business tend to judge their success or popularity by the amount of followers they have. And I remember starting to post on Instagram back in like 2016, 2017, and looking at all these other artists that had like millions of followers, and you just think, how on earth have they managed to reach that amount of people? Like, it can feel a bit discouraging. I couldn't even imagine it, having that many followers. It took me about a year or more to reach about 300 followers, but this was back in like 2017, 2018. And I think it took me so long to reach like 300 followers because of what I was posting. Once I'd finished a commission, I'd always post like 3 images of the same artwork but at different angles, like one straight on, one slightly to the left and one slightly to the right. Don't even ask me why. I don't know. I look back on it now, I think it just looks awful. I think because Instagram's obviously like a grid, I wanted every line to be like one commission each time. So I'd post 3 pictures, then it would be a line of just that commission, then the next one would be the same. But it just didn't really look good. So I feel like it wasn't really engaging. I didn't really use stories. I was just, posting as and when. And I'd post all 3 pictures like at the same time. I actually lost access to that account. I don't even know how. It was my own fault. I mean, I literally don't know how. Just one day it kind of logged me out and I could not get back in to save my life. And at the time I thought, oh my God, this is the end of the world. I've like reached 300 followers. It's taken me years to build this up. What am I going to do? So I started a brand new account. I saw it as a bit of like a fresh start, and I was posting more frequently as I was improving my work and developing my like skills. My commissions were getting a lot better in terms of the quality. I think I got a new phone, so the quality of like the actual picture was better. But yeah, that was my old account, and because I can't get access to it, it still exists. You can still find it, and it's actually Art Becca if you're interested. I'm just exposing myself here. But obviously now I'm Becca Art, but Art Becca is my artwork from like 2016 to 2018, I'd say. So basically when I was just starting with commissions, and the comparison from then until now is crazy. Sometimes I like to look back on it just to see like how much I've actually improved. The more followers that you gain, the more trustworthy and reliable your like brand will seem in terms of like commissions and coming across as like a professional artist. It's not the be all and end all to have loads of followers, but it's a continuous thing that you need to kind of maintain and keep growing. So you need to be so consistent with it and actively posting, which will make sort of getting noticed a lot easier by the algorithm. So Instagram will sort of push your content in front of more people. Making sure the photos that you post are really clean, they're really good quality, especially with us being artists and posting our work. You never know who's going to see that. I like to think of Instagram in particular as like a portfolio. So it's where most of my people see my work. It's probably where most people reach out to order a commission or inquire about original artwork, and then I can direct them to my website. But the first thing they see is like my whole collection of work that I posted on Instagram. So everything needs to look really professional, really clean. And I think it's important to show more of your like process as well. People like seeing how you've got from a blank piece of paper to a really realistic looking wildlife or animal or whatever it is that your artwork is. I think everyone's social media engagement is completely different. It depends on a whole bunch of things, from like the content that you post in to the time that you post in it. But you want to make sure that you're targeting the right people and have like that strategy in place, because it's difficult to know how much to post and like what to actually post. Do you show everything? Do you not show everything? Do you show the best bits? So here's a few ideas with how you can like optimize your social media profile on Instagram in particular. So to grow organically, which means you're not paying for like ads or anything like that, you want to be posting photos, posting reels, and posting on your stories regularly. When posting reels, use popular sounds, like trending sounds. And also I think trending sounds can be a little bit overused as well. If that same sound comes up too often, you kind of get sick of hearing the same song, so you'll just keep scrolling past it. Whereas if it's a song that's newly trending, they're the ones that tend to do really well. Use hashtags to your advantage as well. Don't just put like hashtag art, because that's going to come up with millions of different posts. So for your post to show up quite high up in that would be quite difficult. Instead, use hashtags that relate to your niche. So for example, I might use like dog portraits or pet portrait artists of Instagram. Use hashtags like that are a bit more specified to what you're doing. Hashtags are basically something that someone can search for on Instagram, like dog portrait, like I've just said, or something along those lines. And every single person that's put hashtag dog portrait on their post, all of them will come up on the sort of explore page. It's just another way for people to find you, really. Again, when it comes to reels, just like I was saying with posts before, how you want everything to look really good quality, really clean, I'd say when it comes to reels, you want like a really good quality camera. So if you've got an iPhone, the quality of those cameras are just really good anyway. Make sure you've got a steady camera. So use tripods, or like I've got a desktop tripod that connects to my desk, so I can put it in front of my drawing when I'm working on it, just to record little clips that I can put together to make into a reel. But making sure that that's steady and it's not sort of bouncing around, or I'm not holding it and trying to keep it steady while I'm drawing, that makes such a difference. I didn't think it did initially, because I always used to just hold my camera and then draw, but your hand isn't steady, it's kind of moving around a little bit, and it just looks so much more professional if it's really, really steady above you drawing or your work. It just looks so much better. Have different angles as well, like close-ups, show you working in your studio, and try and capture like the whole drawing process, so recording little snippets of you drawing at various stages. Also, when you're posting reels, you can also add topics. So before you post, if you scroll down a little bit, click on topics, you can choose like wildlife or visual arts or drawing or painting, something that again kind of narrows down that reel into your niche, so it just makes it easier for people to find you. Recently, I've not been the best with posting on Instagram. I think because I've been catching up with so much stuff after my holiday, I've just been like overwhelmed, and social media sort of taken the back foot for a little bit. But initially, when you're trying to grow, you need to be posting probably at least 3 to 4 times a week, I'd say, and posting on stories every single day. And that is the main way to grow on social media, just consistently and regularly posting. Consider the aesthetics and like the content style that you're putting out there as well. You want to be remembered, and it's kind of like when I was talking about branding a few weeks ago, sort of developing a colour or a style that can be recognised over multiple platforms that kind of fits in with your brand and your like brand colours and everything like that is just much more recognisable. When you're posting on Instagram, you want to make sure that it's automatically posting to Facebook as well at the same time. And side note, Facebook is the most popular platform in terms of users. It's been around for ages. So I think it's super important to have a Facebook page and see it as like an online community where it's a place where people can contact you about commissions or interact with your posts. It's just more engagement. And if you're posting on Instagram and it posts on Facebook at the same time, then, win-win, just less work for you to do. Use the features on Instagram to your advantage. So like on stories, you can put polls on there, questions, you can get people to vote for different things. It's just a really good way for your followers to kind of interact with you. And like I spoke about a few weeks ago as well, engagement is so important. So showing yourself on stories, talking to your audience face to face, you just come across as a lot more relatable and personal, and people kind of follow you for longer because they feel like they know you in a way. Reply to comments, reply to your DMs. In your caption when you post something, maybe ask a question that can kind of spark conversation in the comments amongst your followers, because all of that conversation that's going on your post kind of tells Instagram that your post is interesting, so it kind of pushes it more. Just to go back to Reels again, I have got notes, but as usual I just go all over the place. But just to go back to Reels, I was saying about the trending sounds. I feel like some people now are actually scrapping music and using just the raw sound of like the pencil like scraping on the paper, or maybe a bit of both. Just anything that you can do in a reel that kind of makes it stand out a little bit more, that's a bit different to what everyone else is doing, and that really shows that drawing process and how skilled you actually are with coloured pencils and with drawing or whatever it is that you're doing. It's just a lot more interesting for someone to watch. Even like using short form videos and reels to kind of, teach someone a certain technique or show a close up of you doing a little bit of detail is just a lot more interesting than having like start to finish the same sort of angle and having it a million times on your feed. Like, it's good to switch things up a little bit, I think, and show a lot of yourself as well, like the artist behind the artwork. The artists that you'll remember from Instagram are the ones who show their faces and they're more at the forefront of their like brand. Like, they show their artwork, they show themselves, and they show themselves working on a particular piece. So I wanted this first episode to mainly be about Instagram and growing on Instagram. I'm going to touch on other social media platforms, but this one's mainly going to be about Instagram. I've already touched on Facebook. YouTube, you can see longer form videos and your personality kind of comes across. You're a lot more relatable to your audience, especially if you're doing like vlogs and stuff like that. It kind of breaks up the art content. TikTok is more lifestyle. It's very, very short form videos. It's a lot of like behind the scenes. It's a lot of following trends and kind of the less serious or less professional side. You can have more of like a laugh on there. But I don't know about TikTok. I feel like I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with it. Overall, I'd say I probably don't really like it. I definitely don't like it as much as Instagram. But I know that it's got its amazing benefits and how it can literally catapult your business or someone literally overnight, because it's not really got an algorithm. But I will speak more about that in the next episode. In terms of short form videos, I feel like people either love them or hate them. I think naturally we either prefer creating like longer form videos or shorter form videos at a quicker rate. In terms of content, I'd always say, quality over quantity always. This is for Instagram and like any social media platform really. Always reuse your content. I always thought whenever I post something, it's got to be brand new, it's got to be the latest thing, but people are seeing that many posts and reels and videos all the time, every day, that the likelihood is they're not going to remember what you posted like a month or so ago if you post it again. Always reuse all or elements of your existing content to expand that content's reach. So in a way, you're like repurposing your content in different formats. For example, Opus Pro is incredible. So it's OPUS Pro. I found this at the back end of last year and it's honestly amazing. So because I post quite frequently on YouTube, they take me ages to do, especially like the vlogs and, well, all the videos to be honest, because they're all long form videos. Opus Pro is a really good way of how you can repurpose your content. So you literally copy and paste your YouTube video link into Opus Pro, and literally within minutes AI generates like 15 to 20 short form videos, all really good quality that you can use for reels. The AI identifies the most compelling hooks and extracts highlights from different parts of your video and sort of rearranges them so they're interesting to listen to and watch. It sounds so technical, but it's really not. It's honestly the easiest thing ever because it does all the work for you. Like all the editing, everything is done for you. So I can have a quick look through the videos, download the ones that I like, and reuse that content on Instagram or TikTok. Like, it's amazing. So I can post that as a reel, like a little snippet from my YouTube. And yeah, you can literally create 20 or more videos from that. I think it's really important to like know your audience and know the people that you're trying to target with your content that you're putting out there. And the followers that you want to attract are going to be either other artists that want to learn from you, other artists that just want to follow the journey, people who are interested in buying a commission, or people who are interested in buying prints or original work. And you can target them people organically through pretty much everything that I've just said. If you want to be even more specific, you can go down like the paid ads route to target specific people sort of over and over again. And that's a whole different avenue to go down. It gets very complicated and it can be expensive. And the whole sort of background of a Facebook ad is so in depth that I'm not even going to go there. I've run a few ads in the past. For example, when I first launched my website, when I first launched my Patreon, and when I first launched my online shop, I think I spent like £20 on each one, and it would run for say like a week and a half. And you know, it does give you data, but unless you're doing ads all the time, it's very difficult to see how much of an impact that's actually having. And I think on Instagram, when you're just starting out, it's much easier to grow organically, to be honest. So yeah, just stick to kind of everything that I've been talking about. Because Instagram's algorithm is just consistently changing, it's really difficult to know what's going on and to keep up with everything. And you don't need to know like all the ins and outs of everything, but you need to have a little bit of an idea, I feel like. Some people that I follow on Instagram that really help with this is Grace Andrews, who I think she's Stephen Bartlett's social media manager, but she posts like frequently, she posts all the time. And it's kind of good to stay in the loop with what's happening in terms of the algorithm, so you know what to focus on a little bit more. But it is ever changing, so I won't worry about it too much, and I'd focus your attention more on the content side of things. I also follow Adam Mosseri. I don't know how you say his second name, but he is the head of Instagram, and he also frequently posts like short form videos, just kind of letting everyone know any updates of Instagram and kind of what's changing and any new features that are coming out. So I think it's really good to follow people like that who can keep you up to date with the ever-changing algorithm and just, you know, keep you informed in literally a 20-second video. It's just so helpful, rather than, you know, one month your Instagram doing really well and the next month it's not doing well and you're thinking, well, what's going on here? But if you know what things have changed and what Instagram is pushing, so you know what to focus on in the next month, then that might make all the difference. Like sometimes they might bring out a new feature and, you know, they want to test it. So if you're using it constantly, they'll probably push your post and it'll be seen more by everyone because you're making the most of those new features. You might love Instagram like me and just really want to focus on pushing that. But actually, I think it's far more effective to sort of grow all of your platforms consistently at the same time. If you want to be a full-time artist and have a successful future as an artist, I think it's so important to know where everything is heading in terms of social media. So for example, in order, Facebook, YouTube and Instagram are the most popular social media platforms in terms of users. It's been like that for quite a while, but TikTok in recent years is the fastest growing social media platform. So I'm going to talk more about TikTok in next week's episode. But you know, just knowing stuff like that kind of makes you consider, well, if that's growing really fast, maybe I should start posting on TikTok, because in sort of 5-10 years time, if all of these social media platforms are still around, if Instagram goes bust tomorrow, for example, then you'll have that audience hopefully on other social media platforms. You've not just got your whole audience on one. But I'm also not saying that you need to have an Instagram account, make a Facebook page, a TikTok account, you know, start a YouTube channel all at once. Some artists find that, you know, having a Facebook page or just an Instagram account along with the website is enough. If you really want to scale your business and reach more people, being active and being seen on as many platforms as possible just gives you that extra recognition. So yeah, the main things I'd say really is to consistently post, make use of the features that Instagram provides, and growing on social media is essential in running a successful art business. As long as you're making those genuine connections along the way and building like a community around you, focus on engagement over the number of followers. And, use Instagram as a portfolio to present high quality content of your artwork. Unfortunately, there's no quick way how you can gain sort of 10,000-20,000 followers overnight on Instagram. It is a very long, slow and steady process, but honestly, consistency is key. That is the main advice I can give. I remember last year having like a really big boost over about a month or so because 2 of my reels did really, really well. And when I watch them back, I actually think, that's really interesting to watch. Like I was talking about before with the different angles and showing the whole process from start to finish, showing me working in the studio. It was just like a good mixture of everything. And I used like an upcoming trending sound. So I think that helped. But yeah, 2 of them literally went viral. They got like 2 million views, both of them. And that really did give me a good boost in terms of my following. So I went from like 30k to 70k, and then from there it's just been gradually sort of creeping up, and I'm nearly on 80,000 followers now. So yeah, my goal is 100 by the end of the year, but we'll see how far we get with it because Instagram's just all over the place at the minute. My engagement has just been shocking at the minute. I feel like people with more followers, they're not pushing their profiles as much. They're pushing accounts that are fairly new. But then again, in a few weeks, that might change. So as long as you're consistent with your content, then you can't really go wrong. Following is only going to creep up the more that you post. So thank you for watching this episode if you've been watching on YouTube. And thank you for listening if you've been listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Next week, I'm going to be talking about similar things, but different aspects of it. So that episode is going to be how to grow on social media part 2. So I hope I've given you some top tips and sort of shared with you what's worked for me over the years. Obviously, I'm not an expert. There's so many different videos and everything you can watch that go so in depth with all these different things, but I think you can focus too much on the little bits. And, as an artist, we're so busy anyway. I just think, documenting everything sometimes is more important than actually doing the work, and documenting things that can be reused and repurposed is also super important. So consistency, reels, reusing content, all of that stuff, as long as you do that, I promise your social media will grow. So yeah, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to see more art related content, vlogs, podcast episodes and tutorials. That's on YouTube. And if you listened on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, then I'd love it if you could leave a review. So yeah, I'll be back next week with part 2. So thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a lovely rest of the week.